Well, this is part 2 of the of the introduction to the Pro-Life Diaries, and I will continue on where I left off about the huge scandal about Dr. Huang that happened in South Korea in the middle of December 2005. I was living in the country at the time, and let's just say that was a huge to do. It was literally the impact that the scandal made on South Korea was the equivalent of what 9/11 did to America, and it just rocked the society from top to bottom. And when all this started coming out and how all of the research was faked, and that he'd even coerced and forced his female subordinates into giving him their eggs, and so that he could get really famous, and also the fact that the two of them have since died. That just shook me to the core, and I'm saying, like, what is going on with this? Because heard about that people had excess embryos left over from in vitro fertilization. I said, well, if they're not going to use them, well, why don't they just give them to medical research or something like that? Just not thinking too much. And then all this. The scandal that went on, man, that just really rocked me, and I said, oh my goodness, I really have to find out what all of this is. And so I ended up at the PC Bong in the middle to the end of January 2006, and basically ended up on a website of the Center for Bioethical Reform, and there I saw the after effects of abortion, and I'm just going, oh my God, is that true? I saw the dismembered bodies of aborted babies, and I'm just going, oh my goodness, is this real? Is this true? What is going on with all of this? And I said, oh my goodness, it's 4 weeks, and 6 weeks, and then 8 weeks, and 12 weeks, and then up to 24 weeks, and I'm going oh my gosh, oh my goodness, is this what I've been promoting all these years? Is this actually what an abortion is? Is this really all true? And then I went and researched, and it obviously was true, and I said stunned, and I was so unbelievably confused, before the computer, and so. And I said, oh my goodness, I'm going to need some context with all this. So I ended up finding an article written by the American actress, Margaret Collin, and she had done a testimony before the United States Congress on human cloning, and then and I read other things about her pro-life writings, and it was just, I couldn't hold back the tears. It was almost as if the veil had been just ripped off my face, and I finally saw the truth. And so I got up from my seat and paid the money, and I went back to my my studio apartment, and that weekend, man, I just broke down, and I could not stop crying. I just could not get the images out of my mind, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is abortion is tantamount to a crime against humanity, and I just think, oh my goodness, what does this mean? What's going on? And so I went through quite a time, and just a couple of weeks later, my employer illegally terminated my employment, and basically was going to have me deported from the country. And as I was at the immigration, having all of my rights taken away, it was like that still small voice, it came back again, I basically saying, Lord, what's going on with all of this? And basically said, look at how, and basically answered, look at how you feel about having all of your rights taken away from you, and just imagine the unborn. And that just totally shocked me, and I was like going, oh my goodness. And then I had to, make a very impromptu trip to Thailand, and then I end up at the mass grave for the American, the British, the Australian, and the Dutch a prisoner of war, from World War II, that were taken captive by the Japanese. And I saw the grave markers stemming out for forever, and I just said, oh my goodness, there are like 6,000 graves here. And then I just I just found out that there's 146,000 abortions done in the world every day. And I said, oh my goodness, 140,000 more of this every single day. And I just couldn't contain myself, and I just said, oh my goodness. I realized, what a horror, abortion is, and how it's really destroying all of, these, all of the societies that it touches. And that's what I really want to use this forum for, is to really educate and inform people about the truth about abortion, and particularly from a non-Western perspective, because in Canada, USA, we always talking about our little thing, but I really want to bring things from a non-Western perspective to the fore, so that people are more educated about the global impact that abortion has done. And I really see it as a global problem that touches almost every society, and that only 3% of abortions happen inside North America. 97% of the rest of them happen outside, and that it's really the unseen denominator in a lot of social and international issues, and I'll be addressing that further. And that also South Korea has one of the world's highest abortion rates. And I've got a really amazing exclusive coming up. I am going to be having a conversational interview with the Lee Ju-yeon, English name is Violet. She's a South Korean, national, and we will be discussing the issue of abortion and its impact on South Korean society, issues surrounding the abortion of female feticide, where in this country 400 to 450 baby girls are aborted every single day just because they're baby girls. And also so that people get an honest opinion from South Korea in South Korea, and that people can see how people in other countries feel about these issues, and what she thinks needs to be done to change the culture of death in this country into a culture of life. And so stay tuned for that interview coming up really soon, in the very near future. And also I need to send a big shout out to Roe versus Wade, Carrie. I mean, none of this would have been possible without your encouragement, your love, and your support. I know I am just so grateful that the two of us have met, and this all would never have been possible if we had not, crossed pathways on the net. So I'm really, really grateful to, to have you in my life now, and I really hope that we can do some really awesome pro-life stuff together. Everybody, I love you so much, and Carrie, written on my heart. And stay tuned to the next installment of the Pro-Life Diaries.